Welcome into the Jacksonville Jaguars franchise, where today we are on the road in Las Vegas to face AFC opponent in the Raiders. And this Raiders team, they are a 500 team. However, coming off their Week 10 bye, they struggled dropping games to the Dolphins, Broncos, and Chiefs. But in the last 2 weeks, they've started to course correct, picking up narrow wins against the Buccaneers and the Falcons. Gardner Minshew is their quarterback this year, and he has 23 touchdowns to 14 interceptions, completing less than 60% of his throws. Rushing the ball, they signed Kareem Hunt, and he's averaging about 4 yards a carry, but it's Alexander Madison getting the ball where it counts in the end zone. Receiving, Devontae Adams still a part of this group, and they look his way more often than not. 700 yards, 6 touchdowns, but they also look for Brock Bowers about just as often, and he's been just about as productive. Defensively, Robert Spillane is the guy to keep an eye on as he flies around this field, not only leading them in tackles with 95, he also leads them in interceptions with 3. As for TFLs, that's going to be Tyree Wilson, and they have 2 players racking up sacks, Max Crosby at 15 and Christian Wilkins at 10.5. Past those 2, not very many others are producing. And speaking of producing, we need our offense to have a bounce back game. We are number 1 in rushing yards, and that is largely thanks to Trevor Lawrence last week. In a hard-fought battle against a very good Jets team led by the 90 overall Aaron Rodgers. If we did not have Lawrence, we were not in this game. Aaron Rodgers, he threw 5 touchdowns on the defense. We did pick him off twice, and that opened the opportunity. And it wasn't through the passing game. In fact, Lawrence was really bad in the passing game, completed only 38%. However, he ran for 186 yards, same amount of attempts as Breece Hall, and blew him out of the water. He had 2 touchdowns, and we might have had a close game if it wasn't for how the offensive line played in this game. We don't see the stats here. 5 holding calls, one of which took away a touchdown inside 2 minutes and took away our chance to find a late game comeback. And to compound that issue, we will be missing Mitch Morse, our starting center in this game. He broke his thumb in that Jets game. He will be out the next 3 games. So getting the start in his stead is third-year player Luke Fortner. He does have some decent strength, but it's his run blocking that's extremely lacking. He does have decent pass blocks, so we're going to have to rely once again on Lawrence to attempt passes. Whether he throws it or runs it, that is going to be up to the play on the field. But as the Colts are biting on our heels with 3 games left, including head-to-heads against Tennessee Titans and the Colts, we've got to pick up wins if we're to keep our playoff hopes alive. The Raiders, on the other hand, they're on the outside looking in. The Broncos, Chargers, Steelers, Patriots, and the Bills are all sitting above them, not in the top of their own divisions, but thanks to the AFC being the worst division in football, we are still in the race with a 6-8 record. And to try to stay masters of our own fate, we kick this one off, set to return, and we will take it, looking for some space down the middle and up to the 25. Well, we will get dropped, setting it up for our offense to head on out. Fully healthy outside of the center, we get both Davis and Kirk back. Those have been guys we've been missing the last handful of games. Starting off, looking for a pass, drifting back, ball pops out, and it's recovered down at the 6 by Christian Wilkins. Lawrence just straight up dropped the ball on the doorstep for the Raiders. Looked like perhaps he was trying to find a way to throw that ball away, but an awful play to get us going, and definitely not going to help us stay in charge of our own playoff fate. But this game will come down to the defense, and I feel like it's going to have to be getting in the face of Gardner Minshew. Force some mistakes as we get back there. It forces the late throw, and Ringo is laying on the ground in front of Devontae Adams. I don't know if he's had an easier touchdown of his career. It's 2 missed sacks, a player falling on the outside. If that's not Jaguar football this year, I don't know what is. But the offense gets to come back on out, now down by 7, just thanks to poor football. And they've got to find a way to answer back. Now, Trevor Lawrence is now the leading rusher in terms of quarterbacks. As we try to just rush it traditionally, we pick up 3. Now, this Raiders team definitely has guys on all different levels. We obviously saw the front 7 make a big play on the first play. And under pressure again, Lawrence dropped. They bring the safety blitz. It hits home. Already this drive, we're faced with a 3rd and long, though. Without a turnover, it's technically a better drive than how the first one went. And definitely jumping off sides, Crosby, he's eager to get a hit in. And he will, as well as Wilkins, find Lawrence. They get the stop and Crosby falls over, but it's going to be a punt either way. If the Jaguars aren't making things more difficult for themselves than they need be, is it really Jaguar football? As they start with a run, Hunt, he picks up a block there from Bowers, and he totals 8 on play 1, getting him up to about the 43, already sitting about midfield. Walker shakes off the block and throwing, finding Jakobi Meyers, a bad tackle attempt and a slight miss. Ringo can't get the tackle. What another bad play from the Jacksonville Jaguars defense, the side that we expected to play much better, at least in the offense. It's bad coverage and 3 horrific tackle attempts that make this 14-0, and we are just 3 minutes into this game. Jaguars offense out on the field and nowhere to go. 3 Raiders defenders converge on Lawrence. 2 is expected, both along the right side of this offensive line, and it's probably not our strongest side either. Might need to rework some things. Kirk gets a nice release. Ball's not placed out in front. An easy play for Witherspoon to catch back up to and knock away. 3rd and long yet again, and early movement. They don't call it. Lawrence doesn't snap the ball quickly to try to get the call either. And high pass for a wide open Evan Ingram. I don't think this team wants to make it to the playoffs with what we've seen here. They kind of worked their way back into it last week. We'll see if they have that opportunity here. Down the middle, gain of 1 for Hunt. And that's the best play for the Jaguars so far in this one. Now, good news for the Jaguars. Mason Smith is back in there today. He missed the last game with an ACL sprain. And the running game was not good for this defense. Hopefully with him back in there, that'll help pick things up. 3rd and 4, first down, Jakobi Meyers. But it could be far worse. We saw him go for the touchdown on that previous drive. 1st and 10 plus territory, a lot of early movement. It looked like 2 O-linemen, 1 defensive lineman. And it's going to be the defensive lineman that gets the penalty. And they get it on the aforementioned Mason Smith. So, I don't know about that. Might need to see it on film to see who actually jumped first. Hunt to the outside, close to, and gets the first. Johnson, though, he just doesn't believe it. He thought he got that tackle in time. 1st and 10 Raiders. This drive just keeps on moving. They go back to Hunt. Chopping out the legs is Jerry and Jones. Didn't hear much from him last week, but they honestly didn't really target the slot corner. And handing it off to a new running back here, number 23. That is Dylan Lobb. Might be pronouncing that incorrectly, but he's their returner, and he's seeing the field before Alexander Madison. Interesting. Under pressure, Hines Allen. We never get to call his name, and that's a problem here for the Jaguars, but he picks up a big sack. Gardner Minshew will get up a little bit slow and a little bit wobbly, but they'll replace him with Carlson. He's got a leg on him, and he drills the field goal. Not sure if you'd believe it or not, but the Raiders have actually had a better start against us this week than the Jets did last week. Offense, you've got to put something together here as they come out with a bunch to the right-hand side, across the middle and into the turf. While Lawrence may be a really good scrambling quarterback, he's not a good quarterback. At least from what we've seen this year, he's missed so many throws. Coming across and diving, Evan Ingram has to bring it in. And while it will be a great play for the ESPN Top 10, You kind of want to not have to dive out for those. We bring it to the end of the first. It's 17-0 all Raiders. This offense just trying to find a little piece of something good. And that little piece was diving out for it. Evan Ingram, still a great grab. Under pressure and couldn't have time to set up the screen. We thought the Jets were getting back here quick. No, the Raiders are flying back here. Not enough time to really set these plays up. Get it out to EATN right after the play action to him. Chason has to chase him down, and he brings him down 3 yards shy of the first. Spread look here for Lawrence. He's got trips to the right-hand side. Letting this develop across the middle. He's got Thomas. He was held catchless last week, though that's not all due to Thomas. Lawrence had him open several times. He just missed the throws to him. And setting up the RPO, they go to Gabe Davis, back from injury last week, makes a couple of Raiders defenders miss. He's got the first down, though he took a few shots in the process. That's really been the only passing that Lawrence has had success in finding this year. Coach Boston has had to rework the offense around him. And on the move here, trying to get to the outside, maybe pick up a block. No. Lawrence looked like he might have tried to hurdle there. And I'm sure I speak for all of us in wishing that we got to see that first and goal. Got to find the end zone here, and downfield nearly picked off. Gabe Davis was open for the entire first 2 seconds of that play. Unfortunately, by the time Lawrence found him, he was then covered by the safety in Moring. Second and goal motion, they go jet sweep, and not much speed there from Davis. He's caught quickly. It's Witherspoon who had the knockaway earlier on in this drive. Now third and goal. Wouldn't put it past Coach Boston to go for it on fourth down, though. But they do get the encroachment call. They'll move 2 yards closer. Though it does look like Lawrence still making some changes out here. And they hand it off. There's the blocking. ETN can trot in. It takes a quarter and a half, but the Jaguars finally find that scoreboard. Make it 17-7. And hopefully, just as we saw last week, that is the start of a comeback performance. But you got to pick up some stops on defense. That has not happened yet. As they start with Hunt, and he will find a gain of 4. Now, I think a big thing to note here for the defense is we have not seen much from the linebackers either in this game or last game, and it was these 2 games where the defense has struggled. This defense really goes as they go. First down, Hunt on the dump-off catch. There was good coverage downfield, however, the linebackers didn't cover, and there was no pass rush. That continues to be a problem here for the team. Zig route, Jacoby Myers, he's got the first down, gain of 13. 3 catches for him, 77 yards, and he's primarily working against the linebackers and slot corner. So while we didn't get to see much from Jarek Jones last week, we're seeing not good from him here as Hunt shakes Johnson, an awful tackle attempt, and he is going to run to the end zone. Defense continues to struggle to find stops out here, and there's no way you can get back into a game. Your defense can't get stops, and your offense is not finding the end zone with any sort of regularity. But with the offense heading back onto the field following that score, it leaves this one 24-7. They've got to continue to find the end zone no matter what the defense is doing, as they've got Ingram. This time he doesn't got to lay out for it. Gets a juke, gets a block, and all the way down to the opposite 38. If Lawrence can hit that throw, he's got to just be able to do that every time. And if we do, we've got the athleticism on this team to really make them pay for it. Getting this one off under pressure, he finds Kirk, who keeps powering, and he gets that first. The offense will go hurry up off of it. We're approaching the 2-minute mark here of the first half. They've got to save some time, and not going to do that as they get dropped. A real shame, too, as Thomas was breaking open across the middle. Well, that takes us to the 2-minute warning, as it will be second and long here for the Jaguars. Now, back at the 34, they need 17 for the first, and they need a whole lot of points as well. 17 being that same number. And trying to throw it out late, it's another sack, this time Crosby. As mentioned earlier, it's the right side of the line that's facing the best rushers here of the Raiders, and it's probably our weakest side. Downfield and finding Evan Ingram. He's going to pick up a good chunk, but another flag comes down. And this one is another holding call. Now, surprisingly, the Raiders decline it. It was on Walker Little. He didn't have too many or any of those last time. Hard count. Someone jumps, but they don't call it. Now we see movement, and I believe that one is going to be on Cleveland. No, they actually get the Raiders with the false start. That makes it a 4th and 4. And while they were probably just trying to see if they could get a little bit closer, now gives them a real opportunity to try to convert here. Hard count again, 2 players move. Will it be encroachment again? Yes, it will. A free first down, and you didn't even have to snap the ball. Great choice there, Coach Boston, and great barking out the call is Lawrence. Getting him that first down. He looks to scramble here. Takes the contact, picks up the first down, though he is shaken up. He's taken a lot of contact the last couple weeks, and he is headed to the tunnel. That means it's Mac Jones time, and he definitely does not have the same ability as Lawrence. 1st and goal. He throws, and just shy of the end zone is Thomas. Just millimeters away. I don't know about that spotting, but it's a goal line v goal line, and Jones over the center. He gets the touchdown. We'll have to see if we can get an update probably after halftime on Trevor Lawrence. But for now, Mac Jones leading this offense. And with 37 seconds still left here in the first half, we'll see if there's any more of that Minshew magic left here, as he is dropping back to throw, and he finds his tight end coming across and out of bounds at the 44. Great play there from Mayer, as they're at least going to try to get into field goal range. They do have 3 timeouts. Jaguars just 2 with the injury to Trevor Lawrence. Zig route and trying to get to the outside. Will get to the outside. Awful tackling attempts. Did they run any drills during practice? Don't want to take away anything from Davante Adams, a phenomenal player, but he's on the older end of his career, and he shouldn't be shaking all these guys out of their boots. Setting up the screen to the opposite side, it's a one-hand grab for Hunt. He'll pick up 5 and a second timeout called by the Raiders. And at this point, they are well in range for a field goal. In fact, at this point, you're thinking touchdown right now. 17 seconds and now counting. Under pressure, Walker gets the sack. A little bit of help from Mason Smith to polish it off. Well, that will inevitably force the field goal attempt here for Carlson. He hit one earlier. Trying to go 2 of 2, and yeah, pure down the middle. Raiders 27-14 at half. It definitely was not the start to the game, and now you have that looming question of what's going to happen at quarterback. We saw Lawrence head to the locker room later on in that first half. Mac Jones came in, had the QB sneak in for the touchdown. Defense didn't help out, gave up a field goal, and now we sit here at halftime. We should have an update for you following halftime. But taking a look around the league, and in dominant fashion, Chiefs take down the Texans, doubling their score 42-21. 4 touchdowns for Mahomes. He did throw a pick in that game. CJ Stroud, 2 touchdowns and 1 pick. Heading up to Buffalo, we got the Bills and the Patriots. Bills take that one 27-14. Allen with 2 touchdowns, 2 for May, but 3 interceptions accompanying. And that takes us to our last game, the Colts and Titans, an important game for us. And the Titans pick up a huge win. We face them next week. Colts week 18, 30-17. That gives us a little bit of comfort room for this game. And catching up with Boston out of the tunnel, it is bad news for the Jaguars. He said that Lawrence is out the remainder of this game. We'll be seeing Mac Jones and if he could lead a comeback. And as we start this half, it'll be the defense out first for the Jaguars, and they've got to slow down. Gardner Minshew has had a great game. Coach Boston also talked about the need to get in his face and make some big plays. Well, in this one, they're struggling to tackle, and that continues. Edmonds finally brings him down at the 50. Now, that is one of the changes we noticed in the first half. Later on in the last couple drives, they did take out Johnson, and Edmonds did come in. Going back to the run, finally the linebacker makes a stop on Aluakim. The first few games under Coach Boston, this defense really was leading the charge here for the unit. They've taken the last game and a half off for sure. Going back to the run, bouncing to the outside, and Aluakin with another tackle. Might have actually been a TFL. What matters most is getting off the field. 3rd and 8 at midfield. They bring the blitz and plenty of time to throw. They get Adams downfield to the 20. A $170 through the air for Gardner Minshew, and it's not been made difficult at all by this defense. He's just tossing to open receivers. Lloyd makes a good tackle there. Only the 12th carry for Hunt today, but he's already over 100 yards. Picks up 2 on that one. As they now toss it out there, Walker misses a wide open tackle attempt. Looks like this defense needs to invest in those rolling dummies and practice some tackling in open field. 3rd and 6. Bringing the heat. Minshew tosses an easy touchdown. Ringo against Adams. Goes to Adams. He is 2-0 in that battle in the end zone. And if that wasn't enough here for the Raiders, they're looking to go for 2. 33-14 isn't, or 34-14 isn't a good enough score line for them. They go spread empty here, 2-point try. Why? I don't know, but getting dropped. Walker shows a little bit of anger there on Gardner, and it will be a failed 2-point try. But now for the moment that some have been waiting for a few weeks. Jones really gets an opportunity to come out here and quarterback the team. Lawrence had his injury earlier on in this game, and Jones gets sacked on his first snap, really back there at quarterback, and on top of it, there's a holding call as well. This is a 1st and 20. I guess that's better than the 2nd and whatever the loss was with the sack. But with the season and the playoffs really on the line here these last couple games, the team is not stepping up to try to make something happen. Throw out to ETN. He shakes the tackle of Spillane as he's getting to the outside. Big hit from the safety, Morig, right into the chin of ETN. That's good enough to drop him, but a big 1st down on the dump off up to the 42. Jones has to make a lot happen here for this team as he goes with Brenton Strange, angling with the 1st down. That's a late hit and should be a free 15. But for some reason, the Jags don't get any calls for, only against. Still at the 45 here, though won't complain. Play action. And an interesting choice to go for DeGuara. Perhaps some quarterbacks could try to make that throw. I don't know about Mac Jones. Bunts to the right-hand side, 3:03 on the clock in the 3rd quarter. And trying to squeeze it in, it's not even high enough to hit his knees. So with 3rd and 10, it will be. Still sitting at the 45. We get 2 to the left-hand side. Kirk spread out to the right-hand side. Hard count gets early movement. This should be a free play. Rolling, setting the feed, and he had Thomas. He did not have the time. Good thing we got the free 5. We will accept. We won't have to go for a deep ball. We just need 5 more. Hard count again. Did get someone to jump, but back onside in time. Coming across, we get Davis. He's got the 1st down and out of bounds. And another late hit. I'm sure the commissioner's office is going to love delivering fines, but can the refs deliver a flag here? Play action, rolling, has a receiver coming across and catching up to it. Christian Kirk. Injured Raider down on the field, though, looks like one of the D linemen. And it is Silvera, and he will eventually work his way to the locker room. That's now 2 injuries heading to the locker room, 1 for each team. Going with a run here, ETN breaks 1, but Spillane through Cleveland makes the tackle. Well, the offense running a drive like they've got time in this game. I guess trying to settle in Mac Jones. They've at least driven down the field here. And looking for a lofted up throw. Christian Kirk drops it at the last second. He nearly mossed 3 defenders, but just didn't have strong enough hands for it. 3rd and 10. Hard count again, jumps, but they don't throw the flag. Flag comes in much later, and it's a jump ball for Davis. Swatted away. Is this going to be holding on the offense? You betcha. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if Coach Boston looks for an entire new offensive line next year. Just so many penalties, wasting opportunity. Thomas, open, pass off the mark, turnover on downs as they failed the 4th and 10 attempt. Well, there is your first look at a full drive from Mac Jones. They made some plays, that's for sure, but they didn't make the plays when it counted the most. Throw to the outside and getting down quickly, Brock Bowers. That's at least one player this Jaguars defense has done well against. The rest of the offense, not so much. As they go hunt, perfect blocking, big hit from Cisco knocks him down with just a gain of 5. And now they got to get 5 more here on third if they want to continue their drive. Defense, however, they got to get the stop. Bringing the blitz, and it's all picked up and dropped by Bowers. Thank you, appreciate that. We'll get the ball following a punt. That's actually one of the few stops the defense has found today, though found is not exactly the correct word to describe that. Gifted, more like it. As they get the catch, Christian Kirk a little bit low, a little bit behind, makes the adjustment. Now, Mac Jones does not have the strongest arms, so don't expect a whole lot of deep ball throws, although they might need some of those. Out to Kirk again, who spins off the tackle attempt, but Spillane out of nowhere. That's probably why he's racked up all the tackles here for the Raiders. We head into the fourth with a one-sided affair, 33-14. And unless Jones has some magic up those sleeves, I don't know if we're going to have as big of a late-game drama like we did last week. Also, up to the defense to make those plays as Jones, he bounces to the outside, jukes out Spillane. Crosby can't get the tackle, and Jones hit late again. It's a quarterback. Those are gimme calls. Well, at least most of the time, unless you're Sam Darnold and you play for the Minnesota Vikings. Then you get your head ripped off, and it's no problem. Jones, he's looking to scramble again, outruns the lineman, and quarterback still rushing in touchdowns here for the Jaguars, though this time it is Mac Jones. And with this lead now trimmed down 33-21, still well in favor here of the Raiders. The defense wants to make some big plays, force some turnovers. Maybe we could get back into this, but for now, getting flipped for the first down. And an injury here for Walker. That is not good. He's been the only guy to really make plays for this defensive front. As it appears now he's getting that shoulder checked, and it was Hunt who looked like he probably should have had his shoulder checked. He got flipped upside down. But no, he's back out there. Jacoby Myers, he gets the catch. A little bump there late. Gain of 8. I think the biggest problem today here for the defense is literally no one has been making those plays. Hopefully someone will decide to here late on. Wide open is Hunt out the backfield. Lloyd sprints over, misses the tackle, cleaned up by Campbell. Perhaps another point of emphasis during the offseason will be finding a new DC, one that focuses on tackling. 1st and 10, looking to pass the ball. Minshew, he's got time aplenty, and diving, dropping the pick is Ringo. He had a pick on Rodgers last week, misses the one on Gardner Minshew. 2nd and 10, going with this stretch, though Mason Smith is there. Nice to call his name. Haven't really been able to call many defensive front players' names. We are seeing a little bit from Abdullah checking in here to help fill in for the injury to Walker. Minshew with time, scrambles, down the middle sliding, but there is a flag in the backfield. And it looks like they do know how to call a flag on the Raiders. Holding. That's nice to see in reverse. 3rd and 22 now. Setting up the screen to Hunt. Hines Allen was there, just didn't get a hand up. And picking up a decent little chunk there. 4th and 13 back to the 31. And for Carlson, this is no problem at all. About a 48-yarder. He could hit from probably about 60. It's just the accuracy that's questionable. Blocked by Darby. It's scooped up by Edmonds. And he's got all the space in front. He's at the 20, 10, 5. Flipping in. Touchdown Jaguars. And that does make this a touchdown game. So perhaps we will have some late game drama. Defense, they still got to pick up some stops here. And we've got some guys rotating in on defense who just need that breather. Ringo got beat. Raiders answer back in one play. It has not been a good game for Ringo. He is 0-3 in the 1v1s. Just purely beat off the line. Oh, with 4:45 left here. If Jones can do it, we can still make this a game. We're not done until the end as he gets sacked. Loss of 2 to start the drive, and it's going to be hurry up here for the offense. They're going to switch the interior. Ingram to the right, Jones to the left. ETN also swaps sides as they look his way. Timely hit from Spillane took away another potential touchdown play. Jaguars have just not gotten lucky on those. Pass to the right-hand side, and off the hands of Ingram, it was behind him. Looked like they were setting up a play that would get some and then go for it on fourth. They still are here. I mean, if you want to find a win, you've got to this late. Needing multiple scores. And coming across, throwing, Davis gets the grab. First down, Jaguars. Inside 4 minutes left. Once again, going hurry up here. Keeping with the same look. Raiders changing up theirs. Now rolling to the right-hand side, under pressure, drifting back and throwing it away. Not the same arm strength nor speed from Jones. Couldn't break it to the outside. That's where Lawrence has been able to find some free yards. Going to the right this time, Christian Kirk in tight coverage. That's a hospital ball. The Raiders are just begging Jones to throw it because they know that he has struggled. One-on-one with the safety. It's out for Ingram and broken up. That's a good 1v1 though. And it does put the Jags once again in a 4th and 10 situation. 3:30 on the clock. Hard count, no one jumps. Coming across, they do have Ingram. Diving catch, first down. Why are they waiting till 4th down to make some big plays? Can we have it on an earlier down, please and thank you? They bring the rush off the right-hand side and throwing it out again. Now into double coverage, nearly picked off. Putting all the air under it was Jones. He was under pressure as well. Maybe a bullet pass makes that a little bit more manageable. Floating this one to the outside. Brenton Strange with the grab will make things a little bit easier, at least on third. 3rd and 4. About 2.5 minutes left. They need a touchdown. Need to get the ball back. They need another touchdown to take a lead. It's out for Washington, who gets the grab. Not sure if he was in bounds. Plus, there's a flag back in the backfield, and this one's coming back. You just know anytime there's a big play made by this offense, you can bet it's going to be a holding call. 3rd and long, setting up the screen. Not enough time. Pass rush is teeing up here. They don't even have a big boy outside of Christian Wilkins out there, and you honestly can't really count him as a big boy. He's got size, but that speed is just tremendous. And lofted throw, you had Thomas for a mile. It's a turnover on downs, and with that might be your last chance at a comeback here. Now you just got to hope this defense can force the ball out, but they have not made big plays today. Special teams has made more plays as they bring down Hunt. First timeout called there. We'll see if the Raiders do decide at all to go with a pass, or honestly even like a delayed QB rollout sweep. Bring a play from that old Pop Warner days. And with 2:16 on the clock, they definitely could look to pass that ball. They need 9 yards for the first down, and they will look to pass. Coming across, there's time, but throwing it away. That'll save a timeout and the 2-minute warning for the Jaguars offense. And they'll have to travel 85 yards for the end zone and then try to get the ball back and get back in the end zone. Starting with a spread empty look, and under pressure, Crosby. And the sad part is, as we hit the 2-minute warning, is that the pressure hasn't come from the backup linemen at center. It's come from the regular, everyday starters. As Jones trying to scramble out, trying to make something happen with his feet. Christian Wilkins, what pursuit. What's worse for the Jaguars is they do not count him out of bounds. They say the knee hit inbounds, so that clock rolls. And downfield, Ingram drops it. Gotta hold on to those. Just as we saw last week, there's been opportunity for the Jaguars in this game. Plenty of opportunity to get back into it and perhaps even try to take a lead. They just haven't done enough. Davis gets the catch. It's short on 4th. That is your ball game. Mac Jones, Kirk Cousins it when he had a tight end open down the middle for the first. They just didn't do enough, and that pushes their playoff hopes to the final 2 weeks. Against the Titans and against the Colts, you got to pick up wins in both of those games if you want to make the playoffs. But honestly, I don't know if this team wants that. Jones came in and he just threw 44% complete. He really wasn't able to scramble around much, but he did find a couple big scrambles and he did find 2 scrambling touchdowns. And those were really the only highlights of this game for both sides of the ball, outside of special teams who had the block return for a touchdown. And with 2 straight losses, they're making this thing harder than it needs to be. But they still sit atop. Now Tennessee, with that win against the Colts this week, they are into second. We're still top. But the 3 teams, the only one not is Houston Texans, who are 4-11. The 3 teams are 6-9. We beat the Titans, we beat the Colts. That's the only reason we're on top, and we face both of them to finish off this season. Still somehow, by pure utter luck, we are still in charge of our own playoff appearances, even though we should not be. They should break the rule just for the AFC South. They do not deserve to have a team in the playoffs, but we are there, and we have more good news. Trevor Lawrence is not going to be injured heading into next game unless he aggravates something in practice. We are still 2 games out for getting Mitch Morse back, and I don't think Fortner played that bad. The tackles played the worst, but really it honestly wasn't even little. We didn't see much pass rush from Christian Wilkins. He was flying around making a lot of tackles around the line or past the line, but he wasn't in the backfield. The tackle and Harrison did not play well against Crosby, understandable, but yeah, I was actually pretty surprised with the play of Fortner. But if we're going to make the playoffs, we need to find a lot more success. Good news is the teams we're about to play, they're not very good. Titans, they aren't ranked with anything above average. Their best is their passing yards, and who knows, Will Levis did get shaken up in that previous game. We finished the second half against Mason Rudolph. Levis back healthy. Maybe this is going to be a different game. So make sure you stick around to see what happens, as the Jaguars are making this as hard for themselves as possible. So hit that bell icon on the bottom right or scroll down at the sub button and definitely tap that bell icon to let the team know to step up their play and so that you're notified of when these videos go live. This series every single Tuesday and Thursday. We got college football on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Some big games happening there as they're also closing out their season. Trying to make the playoffs, though, they sit in a better spot than we do. Jags back at home. 2 divisional games to wrap up, hopefully not the season, next week.